A few weeks ago, I set a challenge in the automation subreddit for people to make some Soviet shitboxes, and then I would put them through a series of 5 tests, including my personal opinion on how good they look, a race around the Hirochi Raceway, the Endurodrome, a drag race, and then a 0 to 50 to 0, and these are the results. Okay, so the second car that has been handed in is the Pravda Moscovskaya? I'm going to guess that that's how it's said. And there are a few very interesting things about this car. As a whole, I must say it looks a lot more plain than what I've just seen in the first car. I'm doing the visual ratings one after the other because it's all in the same game. So I've basically gone from a 100 to a 10 in terms of craziness. So I am going to have to kind of adjust to that. But I do like the just stainless steel look. It very much looks like this is what cutlery is made of, so why can you not make car of it, yeah? It's heavy, perhaps, but automation doesn't model that, so it's actually only 836 kilograms. So it's not too heavy. It's powered by a direct overhead cam, inline 3, cast iron obviously, as per regulations. No turbocharger. It's allowed. Running a 4-barrel carburetor, also pumping out 62.5 horsepower. Oh, and it gets a catalytic converter. How kind of him. But we're here to look at appearance. So, there are a few things about this that I like, and there are a few things that I would also change based on the category of Soviet shitboxes, which will obviously be taken into account when I come up with my final scoring. So, for one, these wing mirrors look kind of nice. Like, they don't fit, which is good. I'm trying to think of ways that these cars can be shit, but also not fit in the category. The wing mirrors look substantial, like you could see behind you with them, which is obviously going to reduce your score. Sorry. Now the headlamps, they do look quite like how I would imagine the Soviets would build an 80s car. I think having 2 of them and also these little indicators is quite un-Soviet. I feel like the Soviet way would be more to just have that be the indicator. But that, obviously, you can take that into account as well. However, some things that I really, really like about this car is how ridiculously long the name is definitely one of them. And the badging, he spent time to type out. Well, not even type out. He spent time to, one by one, place these letters, get them in line, and then change them to the correct letters, which is dedication to the craft. And also, can we take a moment to appreciate these absolutely batshit insane taillights? It's crazy and just completely nonsensical, and I love it with all of my heart. And so, along with your riveted on fuel cap that doesn't look like it's going to stay closed when you're driving around, I feel like it doesn't channel the Slavic energy quite as much as our first entry. So, based on that alone, I am going to have to knock your score slightly lower than that one, and I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10, I think. Yeah, I'll go with 5 out of 10. Sorry, 5 out of 10. You're halfway there, living on a prayer. But it is a strong contender in performance so far, with 62.5 horsepower, half a horsepower other than our previous compared to our previous competitor, and presumably, I didn't actually check the weight of the other one, presumably this one's probably lighter. It also has suspension that isn't donk levels of suspension, so it may, and probably will, if I'm being honest, claw some of those points back in the race. But you'll have to see in a minute when we get to our next event. Okay, here we are at the Hirochi Raceway with the Pravda Moscovskaya, or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm thinking this is going to be quite a fast lap time from this. 62 horsepower, only half a horsepower less than the first car we ran around here, the Felix. However, I'm guessing that the suspension is a little bit nicer, and also the weight is a little bit lower. But we shall see. Without any further ado, I shall switch us over to Arcade Automatic. We'll press start hot lapping, and we'll do our 3 laps in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Okay, that is a much faster launch than you got in the Felix. So that's already a little bit of an advantage. The acceleration does seem significantly better. Looks like the weight... looks like I was right about the weight is probably the best way to put it. Getting up to about 63, 64 miles an hour. The handling does leave a little bit to be desired on the turn-in. The Felix did feel a little bit more under control in the corners, but that's fine. I've got 3 laps to get used to the steering, and so long as I don't crash it, we're all good. It is definitely quicker through this section. Just getting up the hill, it isn't dropping down to like 35 or 40, which the Felix was. So it's looking quick, definitely looking quick. Might even hit speeds of the absolute breakneck levels of around 70. Crazy speeds that we're getting out of this thing. Straight over the bridge here. We're heading 69 around this corner, 70, 73, 75. Might even hit 80 down here. It's got a good bit of speed about it, this one. Really shows you how much a little bit of weight can change just the top speed of a car, because I mean, this has less horsepower than the last car I took around here, but it is definitely much faster. It does, however, not have the advantage of being an absolute fucking unit when it comes to the Endurodrome. So we'll see how this thing's suspension handles. A little bit wide around there. I'm struggling to get the front end turned in. It does seem to understeer quite a lot, this one. But that's fine. We've had a 205.7, which is a pretty decent time. That's not too bad, especially for a first lap. We might even be able to get this thing under 2 minutes if I really push it. I cocked this up last time. Let's brake a little earlier. No. In the dirt. That's fine. Not going to give any penalties for my bad driving. Trying to stick to the road. Just... definitely need to be going slower into there. Okay, a little wide again. Definitely, I'm not sure if this thing is all-wheel or rear-wheel or front-wheel drive. Sorry, I've got Distracto Cat attacking my microphone at the moment. I bet she's going to sit on my mouse and do some really screwy things with the camera now. Yeah, there we go. If she lays down properly, you may just get the camera jolting around. That's fine, that's fine. Really quick through that section there. About 3 miles an hour faster than I was last time. It's setting up to be a pretty good contender for a sub 2 minute time here, which is going to be quite impressive around here. I don't know if... Well, I mean, you're going to need to really try to get a car that's much faster than this with the restrictions that I placed. So, it is looking good for the Pravda. It's looking good. Obviously, we will have to wait and see what the other cars can bring to the competition. Please, please, cat. Cat. Oh, no, I can't see. Oh, she's right in front of my monitor. It's fine. I haven't quite gone off the track. And it does look like we're going to get a sub 2 minutes with a 159.3. Just. Let's see if we can shave a couple more tenths off that. We're already 6.359 seconds down on our previous lap. Well, up on our previous lap, I suppose. Let's not go into the dirt this time. There we go. Yeah, definitely a little bit harder to drive than the Felix, but it does have that acceleration and that top-end speed, which obviously is part of the reason why it's harder to drive, but is definitely giving it a large advantage around the track. I've gone wide here again. Shouldn't slow it down too much, but it's not ideal. There we go, coming around. It is not bad. It's not bad to drive. I do have some concerns about the understeer, and I do feel like it's not been my best drive ever. I do like a little bit more oversteer in my cars if I'm going to get anything. Not like tank slapper oversteer, but I do like the cars to get turned in a bit too much rather than a bit too little. Ooh, bit of a wiggle down there. Don't know what made me do that. Bit of a twitch there. Oh, whoa. The brakes pulled me really hard to the right there. And that's made me get a funky line through there. But I don't think it was actually that much slower than a normal line, so it shouldn't really make a difference to the lap time ultimately. Right, around the final corner, let's try and get a little bit better of a line through here. That's not awful. It looks like we might shave just a tenth. No, just a little bit slower than lap 2. I thought it might have been a tenth or two faster, but it does look like the score that is going to be going onto the leaderboard is a 159.391. Okay, so here we are at the Endurodrome with the Pravda. Now, I do have a sneaking suspicion that this car's going to struggle just a little bit around here. It shouldn't run out of power going through the mud. The rocks and the speed bumps, I imagine, are going to be a bit of an issue. However, landing on the other side of the big jump is going to be probably the biggest issue for this, as I do kind of expect the suspension to bottom out. But we'll see how it does in 3, 2... Oh, wait. Arcade. 3, 2, 1, and away we go. So, ultimately, this is a timed run. So, the speed is going to be advantageous for this car, but this is no Hirochi Raceway. This is a much more demanding circuit on the car. It will take a battery. And the question is, does it have the durability and does it have the ground clearance to drive with all of the damage that it's going to take? Because inevitably, these cars are going to take quite a large amount of damage going around this circuit. We'll see whether the steering holds up, whether we get another wheel axle coming disconnected like we did with the Felix. But it does definitely have an advantage out of the gate just because it can hit those top speeds down the bits that it can manage, unlike the Felix. So the Felix, despite handling these bumps much better than this car is doing, see, like, that is not good. But I think it might still be ahead just because of the absolute difference in speed, which is definitely something to take account for. I'm slightly concerned as we get round to this bumpy bit that we are gonna start feeling that suspension and the lack of travel. The Felix did do a very, very good lap time around here. It beat the Trabant by about 1.5 seconds. So we'll see what we're able to do in Pravda. Though it is looking solid. It's looking like a solid contender around here. Even got a little bit of a drift around that corner. This is the part I'm most worried about. I'm thinking we're going to get a lot of damage on the landing here, but I'm still going to floor it. Here we go. Oh, it's not good. But it could be worse. It could be much worse. That is not that bad of a landing considering everything, really, taken into account there. Ooh, not good at all over those speed bumps. Definitely having some problems with them. Through the little petrol station. The understeer! The understeer has got me! Right, I'm not going to actually reset that one because I was braking and steering left. It just wouldn't. It locked. So I am going to put that down to the car and not my driving here. Like that, the suspension definitely causing some problems here. Damn, the end of this lap here has been really disappointing. It was shaping up to be really, really strong through the first half. We did have some problems towards the end, but that's still not an awful time. Under 3 minutes, we got 2:52. So we'll just skip this next lap and get ready for our second lap in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. So you do get a very, very small advantage on the second and third laps. You do still have to start from the stop, obviously, but it doesn't actually start counting until you're normally about 3/4 in, or if even a bit more, over that first speed bump. So it is possible that we do get a little bit of an advantage in this car over the Felix, just because of the launch speed, really. So hopefully that doesn't take too much of an effect into this, because there's not much I can do about that. Ooh, a little bouncy through there. I should have taken the inside line. Just a little bit smoother. I thought I could handle that. Like coming up here towards the mud trap, I'm flooring it wherever I can, because the top speed of this thing means that in between these really tricky obstacles, you can get some good times in. That was a little bit problematic through the mud there. It did get onto one side, but we didn't need to flip it, so it hasn't lost that much time. I am getting a lot of really hard pull to the right here, which is what's caused that flip there. I don't think, we got a lot of unintentional camber, let's call it, on the front left wheel, which really annoying we didn't get on the first lap. I think this car can do really, really well if we can get that first section that we haven't managed to get this lap around, and if we can get the second section that we didn't manage on the first lap around, I think this is a really good contender for even this circuit, because it bounces around a lot, but in between the obstacles it flies. Sometimes quite literally. So we will have to see if it's third lap it can survive that first section without this really bad steering damage, because I very strongly doubt that this thing's going to manage in under 3 minutes with that amount of damage to the front left. But I am still going to try, obviously. And actually the damage meant I couldn't quite go as fast over there, which means we have a slight advantage, I say, as we roll over. Well, we did have a slight advantage going over that jump, because we didn't hit it at such an awkward place. Let's see if we get the horrendous understeer that we got last time. Completely off the power. I know it is front-wheel drive, so power down and steering ain't going to be a good combination with this thing, and we're pretty much already slower than the first lap, which is a shame. I feel like it's done surprisingly well, considering the damage to it. It has really struggled over those speed bumps, though. It's going to be tough to beat that 252, I think, but I'm going to give it my best shot, and we shall see if the Pravda can do any better than that. However, obviously, it's not the end of the world if it can't, after that incredible performance at Hirochi. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm going to probably take it a little tiny bit gentler, more carefully, in an attempt to just get this thing around without damaging it. avoid all the potholes this time. Narrow, nearly hit the wall, but not quite. A little bit slower over there. Okay, that's fine. Bounced around, but now on this fairly level terrain, we can just bolt it. This should be a pretty good section of the track for this car. It's fairly flat, it's fairly good. You got this little tarmac corner, which is going to help the steering. Avoid the speed bumps. Narrow line through here is pretty much as narrow as we can get it. Basically scrape the wall without actually hitting it. And onto the mud trap. Let's see. Ooh, that's good. That's really good. That is a brilliant line. It's got through there. This is where it lost everything last time. And oh, it just soars over. This is good. This is a really, really good sign. If we can handle the jump over there, this may just even sneak the Endurodrome just by virtue of it, just having that lighter body. Obviously the engines are pretty much the same size, but the suspension and the bodywork is a completely different size. Got some really big issues with this bit of the track. Obviously the lower suspension travel, meaning it bounces around a little bit more than you would like it to. Right, coming up to the jump. I'm going to let off the throttle just before I hit the jump here. There we go. That's what we get. Oh, we've still flipped. It's not a good sign. We've got to get it over as quickly as possible, but it does need to come to a full stop before I'll flip it. Go, 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 go. Come on, gearbox. So it does have the really good launch in comparison to the Felix, which should mean that that flip is not as painful as some of the flips that the Felix did. Oh, it's really on now. If I can get through this last section of the track. No! No! Understeer! Don't do that to me! No, 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 no! Come on! Come on! Not now! Not after all I've been through! Come on! We've got like 7 seconds to get through this. I don't think we're going to do it. We haven't done it. We couldn't beat the 252. Oh, I am heartbroken. The flip and then the understeer at the petrol station have ruined it. Oh, man. That could have done it. It could have. It so nearly should have. Oh, damn. I beat myself up about that. Anyway, on to the next event on that disappointing note. So, I do think it's a little bit of a foregone conclusion that the Pravda is going to beat the Felix down the drag strip. I hate to say that, but just the launch is quite a big differential factor. But we will see how it does. Obviously, anything can happen. Let's see, it's got a little bit less launch than my Trabant. But they're quite close, actually. It does have 22 more horsepower than the Trabant, so it should beat it. And it has. With a 20.039. That's pretty good. That's nearly a sub 20 on the drag strip, and I've done even better with the Trabant this time, a 20.78. I will one day the Trabant will beat a 20-second time. Anyway, on to the final event. And the fifth and final event, the 0 to 50 to 0. So, I'm just going to reset my total distance counter, and we'll see how well this does. So it does have that acceleration advantage over the Felix, but it also may not have as good brakes, so we will have to see. It is much quicker up to 50 miles an hour though, and yeah, that acceleration just does it. That is a pretty impressive total distance there. Not bad at all, 178 yards, and I must say, the brakes on this, surprisingly functional. I didn't really expect them to work that well. Probably should have limited it to just drums, but hey, I might be wrong. They may still be drums. Looks like it. I think they're drums. Can't see a caliper, so I'm going to go with drums. So, fair enough. There you go. Good brakes, good acceleration. Didn't do quite as well on looks, and I don't think it did quite as well at the Endurodrome. But we will have to see how this car does once more cars have competed, obviously. Maybe the Felix ended up dominating the Endurodrome, in which case it will get a lot of points for that, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been the Pravda, the second car to take part in our Soviet Shipbox Challenge, and we shall return with another car shortly. Goodbye!